These American kickboxers have traveled to the land of 1,000 smiles to put their skills to task. For 14 days and nights, they're going to train like their Muay Thai counterparts, allowing them to experience what the heart of Muay Thai is all about. At the end of their 2-week ordeal, they're going to have the opportunity to find out if they have the guts and skill to enter the ring and go one-on-one against a professional Muay Thai fighter. What began as an adventure of a lifetime for a handful of novice American Muay Thai fighters almost ended in a riot. To set the stage, let's turn the calendar back a couple of weeks as 6 Americans touched down in Thailand. This wasn't so much a vacation as it was a serious training seminar and an opportunity for these fighters to experience firsthand how training is done in Thailand. The tour was hosted by Bob Cheney, who, without exception, is one of the best-known names in the martial arts. A karate champion in his day, Master Cheney runs one of the most successful martial arts schools in the nation, teaching Taekwondo and Muay Thai. Few, if any, Americans have the contacts and connections to the sport of Muay Thai inside of Thailand as Cheney. From the generals that run the country to the stadium owners, Cheney has rubbed elbows with them all. I've been on several trips to Thailand with Cheney where I personally experienced what it was like to train in a Muay Thai gym. But my role on this trip was just to observe, so I left my wraps at home and grabbed my camera instead. First, let me say that Hollywood couldn't have put together a better cast of characters for this outing. There was Thomas Wildman Denny, a mixed martial arts champion, a professional fighter that eats, spits, and growls testosterone. Next was Morris Mushwash. Never have I met a funnier guy. Born in Jordan, he spent 6 years in the U.S. Army before becoming a citizen. His humor and good nature was the glue that bonded this group. Then we have the kid, Mason Reynolds, a 20-year-old that had never been on a plane before, let alone out of the country. This youngster was the guy everybody wanted to just take under their wing. Next was Chad Higgins, a 30-something-year-old auto mechanic with a handful of smokers to his credit, but only a few months of actual Muay Thai experience under his belt. He was thoughtful, intelligent, and often the voice of reason when the road got a little rough. Val Eady was the strong, silent one of the group. Standing more than 6 feet, sporting a muscular frame, he was a man of few words. Like Denny, Val is also a professional martial artist who owns his own studio in California. Cheney's Thai wife was an invaluable asset to the group, not only because she speaks Thai and English, but her ability as a Muay Thai trainer is second to none. Cheney himself was among the walking wounded, as he had just had surgery on his arm and kind of limited to what he could do. However, Bob hired Hatie, a well-known Muay Thai trainer and fighter from Bangkok, to act as the group's official trainer. Like most American fighters, these guys were accustomed to some pretty fancy training days. For example, at Cheney's gym in Upland, California, they have spacious training areas covered in mats, dozens of kicking devices, a well-equipped weight room, and a full-size ring, not to mention showers. These luxuries are simply not commonplace in Thailand. There aren't any frills here. In Thailand, they train on a rough cement surface that can shred unconditioned feet in a matter of minutes. They use homemade weights. They shower by splashing water on themselves from a community trough. And the sweat-laden surface of their ring could be best described as one very large petri dish. Success in these gyms comes from hard work, not from fancy equipment. These Americans were shocked at the sparse gyms used by their Thai counterparts. But once everybody got over the cosmetics, or lack thereof, of the gym, they watched in awe as the Thai fighters trained in earnest, showing a determination and a focus that superseded their Western counterparts. Another thing the Americans noticed was how young Thais begin their training. Many of these baby sons learn to leg check and kick shortly after they've taken their first steps. Unlike schools in the States that caters to kids because they help pay the rent, these kids train in earnest because they know that someday the skills they learn in the gym may provide them and their families with the only source of income they'll ever have.
This little kid is pretty impressive right here.
It soon became evident to the 5 warriors from the U.S. that they had entered a realm of training combined with a mindset that was a world apart from what they were used to in the States. Little did they know that this was just the tip of a very nasty iceberg that awaited them in Koh Samui. To get to Thailand, all you need is a plane ticket. But gaining access to a real Muay Thai gym is not just something anyone can do. Cheney has for decades been training in Thailand, and during that time has established relationships with the very best Muay Thai gyms in the country and the owners of the biggest Muay Thai stadiums. Because of these long-standing friendships, Bob was able to get his fighters into places and events that would be out of reach for most foreigners. Bob used those connections to get his fighters a lot of perks, like free ringside tickets to some of the best Muay Thai fights in all of Thailand. Between workouts, the guys were treated to a handful of sightseeing excursions. This park is about 2 hours outside of Bangkok, and it gave everyone a chance to experience the beauty and the history of Thailand while snapping a few Kodak moments for their scrapbook. The next leg of the journey was a 4-hour drive to a small village near the coast. Here everyone had a chance to sharpen up their basic Muay Thai skills before moving on to Koh Samui.
They're working at pulling the hand down from the neck wrestling, lift the arm out, push the bicep out so they can open up the clearing, turn the body without leaning. Notice the hand goes underneath the armpit, and they're turning the elbow over to strike down. It's called a cutting elbow.
There's nothing like a home-cooked meal to complement an afternoon of neck wrestling and elbow strikes. After chowing down on a variety of foods that no one could pronounce, Wild Man put on a show for some of the local kids. With playtime over, it was time to hit the road, literally. The daily runs were nothing short of grueling. Bob was pushing his team to the limits because he knew what they were in for when they got to Koh Samui. When these guys squared off with seasoned professional Thai fighters, they had to be in great shape, not just to win, but to survive. The Americans hit one last gym before leaving for Koh Samui. This is where the national teams of Thailand train, and it's considered to be one of the best facilities in the country. It's here where many young fighters begin their quest for a career in Muay Thai.
The kid kicking the bag has 41 fights. His record is 33, 1, and 6. He's already fought at one of the 3 biggest stadiums in Bangkok, ofMuay Stadium. He's already fought on the card there. How old is he?
14 years old. 14 years old, my goodness.
The young Thai fighters embraced the big Americans and offered valuable suggestions on how they could improve their techniques. Although many years their junior, the Americans realized that these youngsters had years of ring experience and were eager to learn from them. The trainers took everything up a couple of notches as each fighter began to hone and sharpen their individual skills. Everybody put in a hard day's work before leaving for Koh Samui. The ferry ride to Koh Samui gave everybody a chance to kick back, rest, and recover from their rigorous training regimen. Samui is just a tiny dot on the world's map, but it is here where Morris, Val, Denny, Chad, and Mason would find out just how hardcore Muay Thai training could be, and in the process test not only their mettle, but also their heart. Our accommodations in Samui put us right on the beach in Tahitian-style air-conditioned huts. From here it was just a short walk into town, or Party Central, depending upon your agenda. To say the least, Samui is filled with distractions. One thing's for sure, you're definitely not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. Known around the world for its massage parlors and rowdy nightlife, this island resort has all of that and a lot more. Samui is also a shopper's paradise, offering deals on everything from clothing to electronics. The boys from California roam from shop to shop, bagging a variety of souvenirs along the way, and while bargain hunting, the guys found out that their reputations had preceded them. Cheney had arranged for several members of his team to experience their first Muay Thai fight in the most popular stadium on the island. And much to their delight and amazement, the Americans were hailed as local celebrities by the time they hit the island. Their names were on giant banners and flyers all over town, announcing their upcoming fight.
John Hogan's.
That's me.
Muscle Reynolds.
Joe Hogan's fight. Yarpe. There's your match. That's pretty rad. It's crazy.
Where are you?
Mason Reynolds.
Following a night on the town, the Americans went to their last gym. To say the least, it was a rude awakening. This place made the sparse gyms in Bangkok look like a palace. Each man was now going to realize firsthand why these Thai fighters work so hard to earn a ticket out of Koh Samui.
Well, as you can see, Terry, these conditions here, this camp are crude. I mean, by American standards, they're filthy. I mean, they're dirty. But you know, this is a different life over here. These guys are here for serious business. You look at the gyms in America, and they get beautiful mirrors and carpeting and nice matted floors and you know all those wonderful things like your home. They don't have that here. These guys are here because they have to be here. It's their only way of life. It's a way of making something of themselves, getting out of the streets, making something with their life.
It motherfucking stinks. Oh my God. How the hell am I gonna fucking train when it stinks like this? I mean, you know what I mean? I've been through some conditions, but the sewage is right next to us. Y'all can't see it, but the sewage stinks, man.
There's this, you can't smell it through your camera, but there's sewage right here at my feet, but, you know, it's a little different. Our feet are getting chewed up and raw from the hard concrete floors, but we're dealing with it. It's fun. It's an experience. We're living the life of luxury in our gyms at home.
Okay, so why would anyone want to train in what amounts to being a toxic dump? Well, because it's part and parcel of the Muay Thai experience in Thailand, and that's what these guys signed up for. Under the heading of "What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger," our lads not only endured, but they also embraced the training regimen.
We do what they do, and we'll be better than them, or as good and better. So we just gotta have to live through it and just go and train hard. It's all about training.
In the process, they earned a lot of respect from the Thai fighters that they would soon be squaring off with in the ring. For 3 days they trained, each man reaching deep inside himself for the courage to commit to his convictions.
It's bad. Just look around. I mean, look around what we're training in. We're going to stay here. It's rough, you know. These guys stepping in the ring, hats off to them. I was supposed to fight, but I'm not in shape enough, and I'm that scary of a fighter. If I'm not in shape, I don't fight. So these guys right here are going to step in the ring and do their thing Friday. I wish them luck. I'll be there behind them.
A month earlier, it was easy for them to boast about their desire to square off with a real Thai fighter in a real Muay Thai stadium in Thailand. But with that reality now just a few hours away, the old saying, "Be careful what you wish for because you just may get it," had new meaning for each and every one of them. Case in point was Mason when he came down with a bad case of the butterflies and wanted to back out of the fight. Cheney tried to build his confidence with positive reinforcement. Wildman, on the other hand, had a more intimidating tactic to encourage his teammate.
How am I supposed to go out there and do the run when you're wanting to quit the whole time? How's that going to keep me motivated to run? You know, when I stop, I'm at the front of the pack. I can run at the front of the pack the whole time, because I'm in shape. I know I am. I can. But I draw back to help you and to encourage you. But if I'm going to draw back and all you're going to say is negative comments and you want to quit and you want to stop and you're not ready to fight, how do you think that's making me feel?
You can't affect.
Then I have to come back here and I have to try to train after hearing that the whole time. I'm trying to train, keep my mind.
I've had relationships with these people for a long time. John screwed up over here. You can't.
Eventually, Mason realized that this was the opportunity of a lifetime, and he found the courage to face his fears and go on with the fight. After 2 weeks of intensive training, the day was finally at hand. Tonight was fight night. So Cheney gave everybody the day off and some time to have some fun and prepare mentally. The first order of the day was a relaxing Thai massage on the beach. After a few hours of pampering, it was time to have a little fun, Thailand style. What would a trip to Thailand be without an elephant ride?
No seatbelt there.
Everybody boarded a pachyderm for a slow saunter into the countryside, after which we took a little hike to a nearby waterfall where everyone spent some time waiting in one of nature's whirlpools. Soon it was time to return to the hotel to rest and to get ready for the main event. Wildman wasn't scheduled to fight because he had a championship cage match upon his return to California. And Val at first wasn't going to fight, but at the last minute he decided to join the fray. However, Morris was extremely disappointed when he learned that the doctor would not allow him to fight because of a knee and ankle injury that he received while training.
Well, I was looking forward to fight. I've been training. We came here to fight, and I'm a little bit disappointed just because I don't want to let the guys down. I came to train, and I really just want to get the experience. Whether lose, win, draw, it's all just part of life, and I just want to be with the guys. And it's too bad my knee ain't gonna help me, but live through it and come back next time.
The Muay Stadium was filled to capacity the night of the fight. The crowd roared to the action provided by the local fighters as they kneed and elbowed their way to victory. But the real attraction this evening was a handful of strangers, these round eyes, who dared to step into the squared circle against local Muay Thai fighters. Because Cheney was good friends with the vice president of the stadium and had long ties with the owner, he was able to arrange a friendly match between several of his novice fighters and a couple of the local boys. They struck a gentleman's agreement that no elbows would be used. However, when the Americans started pounding the Thais with their boxing skills, that agreement went out the window. Mason was up first and he came out swinging. He rocked the Thai with several good punches and held his own in neck wrestling. And then Mason made a rookie mistake. He dropped his guard, and that allowed the Thai fighter to land a solid uppercut to his chin. Mason crumbled to the mat and he was out like a light. Wildman was very upset. He claimed that the Thai had set up the KO punch with an elbow, and as we know, there were not supposed to be any elbows in these fights. Next up came Val. He was a formidable-looking foe as he overshadowed his smaller and rail-thin opponent. At the sound of the bell, it was again the Americans' boxing skills that prevailed. Val landed punch after punch, backing the startled Muay Thai fighter up against the ropes. Then the Thai fighter landed a handful of nice kicks to the tall American's legs, but it had very little effect on Val. Frustrated, the Thai then unleashed a crossing elbow that found its mark, dropping Val to the canvas for the count. Cheney and Denny were furious. They screamed, they jumped up and down, they called the ref and the fighter every name in the book. Their actions incited the predominantly Thai crowd into a barrage of jeers. Of course, the audience had no way of knowing that this was a no-elbows fight. They just thought the Americans were being sore losers. Their jeers merely added to the fuel of Cheney's fury. Chad was the last fighter on the card, and he made a good showing with his hands, and unlike his teammates, he made it to the second round. However, shortly after the bell sounded in round 2, he was backed into his own corner when the Muay Thai hit the fan. First, his opponent threw an elbow that whizzed past his head, and instead of protecting himself, Chad looked over to Cheney and protested the elbow. That was a bad move. The instant he took his eyes off his opponent, the Thai charged in, landing a vicious elbow to his head. Blood began spurting from a 2-inch gash along Chad's forehead. Chad was stunned, but he was also ticked off, and he was ready to resume the fight when Cheney jumped up and entered the ring with Wildman right by his side. They were going after the fighter and the referee. Fortunately, calmer heads prevailed, and a disaster was averted as both sides realized that a fight after the fight would be a lose-lose situation. Instead, they arranged for a rematch the next time the Americans are in town. To a man, the fighters all agreed that it was an exceptional experience, and they were all willing to do it again, but the next time they would enter the ring armed with elbows of their own, and a newfound respect for the term, protect yourself at all times.